Welcome to Meldon Law and Friends. I am Jeffrey Meldon here at the studios at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. What a great place here. This is kind of like the clubhouse for Gainesville, Ocala, Lake City. You come on down, have a wonderful time here. And behind me, you can see some of the helmets that the head ball coach, Steve Spurrier, has accumulated over the years. And what a fun place, a museum and a beautiful restaurant. And the food is fabulous, absolutely fabulous. So, a couple things before we get going on our great interview. Man, Lewis Stokes from K Country's on with us today. And you're in for a great interview because Lewis is a consummate professional who has been being a country DJ for over 30 years in North Central Florida and is known by just about everybody. So, couple things. My name is Jeffrey Meldon. I'm an attorney and the founder of Meldon Law, 1971. And we are really excited that this broadcast is now going into its fourth full year. Major accomplishment that we're very proud of. And thank you for listening and watching. Meldon Law is a personal injury and accident law firm. We handle cases all over the state of Florida. We have offices in Gainesville, Ocala, Lake City, our new office in Williston, Florida, as well as South Florida. We have an office in Fort Lauderdale. If you have the need, just Google Meldon Law, and you'll see how to get a hold of us, or call us at 352-373-8000. We'll be glad to help. If you have a case that doesn't involve personal injury, you can give us a call, and we will let you know who we use as our own attorneys for that kind of a case: real estate, wills, trusts, whatever you need, we're there to help. So a couple things before we bring on Lewis is the Fan Fest. So we have University of Miami coming to Gainesville a week from Saturday at 3:30. Big time game. It's going to be a tough game. The odds makers have Miami favored by 2.5 points, but that doesn't matter once the game gets started. Everybody is coming into town. I can't tell you how many people have called me for tickets and visiting, and we're going to have our out-of-town Gator family coming in, and it's going to be a blast. Meldon Law is doing a Fan Fest, which means we're putting up the Meldon Law tent. We are also doing our Wheel of Fortune, and we're going to be giving away lots of swag. So it's right outside the basketball arena, between the O-Dome and the football stadium. You can come visit us, and I'll be around, and Meldon Law team will be there to say hello, get you ready for the game, put you in good spirits. Also, the following week, we're doing Fan Fest as well for the Samford game, and that's a 7 p.m. game. So when there's a 3:30 start, usually we get things rocking and rolling about 2.5, 3 hours before game time. So if you show up early, the line will be shorter. For the Samford game, we're going to have the Fan Fest starting around 3:30, 4 o'clock. So come and visit us. A couple other things. One of my favorite groups is the Coastal Conservation Association of Florida. They're the ones that make sure that fishermen still have fish to catch. And the reason is because commercial fishing can wipe out fishing in a certain area. And we have beautiful fishing grounds both on the Gulf Coast as well as the Atlantic Ocean, and we want to keep those areas wonderful for sport fishing. Go have a good time, and we're in one of the nicest areas in the whole world to go fishing. So we can support them by going to the 33rd annual banquet and auction. I've been to 3 or 4 of these now. I love them. September 12th, and it's going to be out at the Legacy Park in Alachua. It is a wonderful event, 5:30 to 9:30, and all you have to do is Google the Coastal Conservation Association of Florida, Gainesville chapter. That's it. And the purpose is to raise money to advise and to educate the public. A lot of this stuff has to do with making sure that our state House members and senators support the activities of conservation and make sure that we are protected from folks that are going to decimate the waters of fish. So let's support them. Great organization. We have a catered dinner, drinks, raffle, auction, and you get a year membership with CCA when you buy a ticket. Let's see. We have the Latina women presenting the 20th annual Latino Festival, September 12th through the 29th. And it's going to have all kinds of wonderful films that you can see. They're going to be at locations like the Harn Museum of Art, the Blunt Hall Auditorium, the Bo Diddley Plaza, the Matheson Museum, U.F. Smathers Library Center for Independent Living. It's an 8-day festival highlighting Latin American culture through film, music, and dance. So check them out, LatinaWomen'sLeague.org, LatinaWomen'sLeague.org. Next, we've got Williston. There's going to be a big party out there on September 21st at Homestead Park. Our good friends out there in Williston are wonderful, and they're going to have a Latina festival out there. Admission and parking is free. Latin dishes, arts and crafts, free Zumba classes with Celine, live music featuring El Grobito Hueva with Jimi Hendrix of Flamengo and Nicholas Marx. Support them. Again, that's September 21st from 11 to 4 p.m. Let's give them a shout out. World Equestrian Center. Oh, they're having this big comic festival. So folks that like to collect comics, and there's a lot of us, comic book artists, creators, vendors, celebrity guests, they're going to be out there. It's the largest comic book festival in the area, September 21st. That's a Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And the next day, Sunday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. World Equestrian Center, they're great. We were out there for the show. They had a wonderful outdoor expo this week. It was wonderful. We're giving away tickets for all these events. Just go to our Facebook page, Meldon Law, and you will be able to get free tickets. Put your name in. A lot of folks are getting tickets for football. This year we've got a great basketball team. The hottest ticket is actually gymnastics, if you can believe that. Our gymnastics program is smoking. We're going to have all these Olympians back here, and I think the Gators got a legitimate chance to win the national championship this year. They came in second 2 years in a row, so all we got to do is knock off SEC newcomer Oklahoma, and we'll be right there as a national champ. That's what's going on in the Meldon Law world. We are the only official injury law firm partner of the Florida Gators, and very proud of it. We love our partnership with the Gators. We don't do their legal work. However, as a partner, we support everything they do. And our team has 40 members to it with 5 different offices. So anytime you have a need, if you're seriously injured in an accident, please give us a call. We will help. And I promise you we'll deliver Ritz-Carlton experience to you. We will make it easy, and you will feel like you're with a trusted friend. We're going to take a quick break on Meldon Law and Friends, and we'll be back in just a few minutes.
Jeffrey, what are you doing?
Well, I'm joining the band, of course. Since Meldon Law is the official law firm partner of the Florida Gators, I want to help.
Dad, we're litigators. Let's stick to helping people in the courtroom.
Well, can we still hang out and jam a little bit? At Meldon Law, we won't back down.
I was going down a one-way street and a girl that was driving her car T-boned me on my scooter. I ended up going for an MRI and discovering that I had 2 herniated discs. Coming to Cary allowed me to not have to worry about what doctor I was going to see or what physical therapist I had to go to. They say, these are the people we trust. You're going to have a great experience there. And I honestly did each time.
Call Meldon Law. Your consultation is absolutely free.
Alberta, I understand you were witnesses to a crash. Can you tell us about the accident? When you're in a crash, it's important to get witness statements immediately after the accident. Whether you're in a car, truck, motorcycle, scooter, or even a golf cart accident, at Meldon Law, we won't back down.
And I was in an accident. Someone ran a red light and hit me, and I was hurt. You don't know where to turn. Luckily, I called Jeffrey. These big insurance companies, they don't want you to win. They truly don't. But Jeffrey and his firm and the people that work here, they just really fight for you. You call the law offices of Jeffrey Meldon, because you're going to need help, and they will help you.
Call Meldon Law right now.
Hey, Sammy, look who's there. Say hi.
Hey!
You again.
Meldon Law, Jeffrey speaking.
Jeffrey! Somebody else hit us.
Here we go again.
After the car accident, your personal life takes a toll when you have major injuries. Being a mother of 3 kids, having to work, it became overwhelming. Didn't know what was going to be my outcome. But Meldon Law, actually, they went above and beyond.
At Meldon Law, we're not just your legal team, we're your support system. You do not have to go through this alone. At Meldon Law, we won't back down.
Welcome back to Meldon Law and Friends. I'm Jeffrey Meldon, founder and attorney at Meldon Law, here to help you if you are involved in a serious accident with injuries. I'm very privileged today to have a good friend of ours, Louis Stokes, who's a famous country DJ. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jeffrey. I did this about 2 years ago, and I just had so much fun. I couldn't wait to do it again. I know you had that long waiting list. I've been waiting 2 years. I got in. So.
Well, Louis, do you ever take off your hat? That's what I want.
That's like asking John Wayne to take off his hat or something.
When you go to bed.
Right. Yeah, my wife will take my hat off before we go to bed. Kiss the cowboy goodnight.
I know. Well, our friend Elio Piedri, he never takes his hat off either. You know, that becomes your look, right?
That's my look. Like we were here at Spurrier's for the 3-year anniversary, and I was like the only person wearing a cowboy hat, and I told my wife, I said, that's my look. That's how I stand out in the crowd. Is I'm the cowboy. So,
I know.
yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about country music and how you know when you got started in the early days. Tell us how it evolved.
Yes. Well, August 30th will be my 44th year in radio.
Holy mackerel,
44
you don't
years.
look that old.
Well, thank you. But I
You
started
started when you were 7.
16. Yeah, I was 16 and started at a little AM station in Lake City, WDSR, playing 45s and albums, and it was country records. And grew from there. I would play high school baseball, and then after the baseball game, I would ride my bicycle over to the radio station and do a nighttime shift at the radio station. I'd have, my uniform had clay all over it and everything. I was in uniform, and then I'd go on the radio, and then I did that all through high school, and then I joined the Air Force for about 4 years. Worked at radio stations on the side, whatever base I was at, and I've been doing it ever since. I mean, it's in my blood. I love it.
So how did you get started? Like, you're a 16-year-old kid. Did somebody say, "Hey, Louis, you want to go do a radio show?"
Well, my brother-in-law had a car dealership in Lake City called Power Service, and they had Oldsmobiles, Cadillacs, Pontiacs, Datsuns, which don't
I remember Nissan became Datsun.
Correct.
Datsun
Yes.
became Nissan, right?
And my brother-in-law was doing a radio commercial at his house on a reel-to-reel tape machine. And I came over to visit my sister, sat on the couch, and watched him try to record this radio commercial. He had his notebook paper, and he kept messing up over and over, over and over. And I started snickering at him. Well, he glared at me, and he said, you think you can do better? You do it. And he gave me the script, gave me the microphone. I looked at it, I read it, and he said, all right, come on, we got to go to the radio station. He took the reel off. We drove to the radio station that night in his 280ZX, which was a Datsun. We drove there, and the nighttime DJ took the tape, and he said, use the best cut on the tape, meaning him. Well, the next day, the owner of the radio station called him and said, hey, who's that new voice on your radio commercial? He, what new voice? I don't have a new voice. He goes, oh, that's my brother-in-law. He wasn't supposed to be on there. The owner of the radio station said, well, tell him to give me a call. We may have a job for him. And,
wow.
And here I am, 44 years later with you. Talking about radio.
Well, as my good friend Bob Rose says, we all have a good face for radio.
That's right. I love Bob Rose, by the way. He's a good guy. And and I've seen the progression of country music, because when I first started out, I was hanging out with Conway Twitty and George Jones and Merle Haggard and all those. And now, I was telling you earlier, Post Malone just had the #1 country song with a song. He's come out with a country album. So
yeah, we were talking earlier about Tom Petty songs. There's a new album of all these great country artists that are singing Tom Petty songs, and I've been listening to it, over and over again, because it's so nice to hear a really fine artist interpret another artist's songs.
Right. It's called Petty Country, and the Big Machine label group put it out, the Valerie Music Group, I think it's called. And it's all country artists doing Tom Petty songs. And they really did a good job. We were talking about Dolly Parton on my favorite Tom Petty song, Southern Accent, and wow,
Yeah, I mean, they've got the A-listers on that album. So any of you that enjoy Tom Petty music should check this album out. And, I moved to Gainesville in 1970, okay? Right. And my friends and I, we used to go to bluegrass festivals up in North Carolina and stuff, and then later my friends moved to Nashville, and so in the mid 70s I went up to check out what the Nashville scene was like, and it left an indelible imprint on me as far as what the music was like here in North Central Florida. Let's talk a little bit about that because, Tom Petty is really a very country guy.
Yes, I would say that. A southern kind of country kind of, yeah.
I mean, the kids growing up during the 60s and 70s, I think his family was originally from Reddick, and then they moved to the big town, the big city of Gainesville, right? But, he was listening to country music, gospel music, rock and roll music, and really that's kind of the genesis of what we call rock and roll, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit of everything. It's like this stew, and you put all these ingredients in it, and that's rock and roll. A little bit country, a little bit blues, a little bit jazz, a little bit everything, and then you got rock and roll. And you can hear those influences in Tom Petty's music and on this album, these country artists. And it's an A list. You're right. You and I were looking at the list going, wow.
Yeah. I mean, So, and I'll tell you, Dolly Parton's rendition of Southern accents really struck home with me because, there was a controversy on that album. I don't know if you knew about that.
No, Tell me.
Well, he had the Confederate flag on the album. And people were going, Tom, what's up with that? He says, well, that's what it was like back home. People had Confederate flags, and that was just what my life was. And he tried to explain, and then I don't know what he said. I'm sorry if I offended anybody, but that's just the way it was. Back in North Central Florida. But he was born in 1950 too.
Okay, I was thinking too. How we had talked. How you. What was the story? You signed Tom Petty to his first contract, or
no? I tried to.
Okay.
No, what I did was, it was Mudcrutch at the time.
Okay.
And they asked me to help them, represent them, do legal work, and get gigs and stuff because they were playing the Dubs a lot, but they were looking to expand. Right, so I got them a big job at the Holiday Inn in Lake City.
Oh, okay, I know that too.
And that was probably the best place for a rock and roll band to play. And the story goes that after about 3 or 4 days, the manager of the bar there calls me up and he said, Jeffrey, he said, these guys, we want them to play top 40, and they keep wanting to play their own song. so I called Tom Petty. We didn't have cell phones then, and
that's right. Yeah.
So I said, Tom, come on down to the office. So he came in. I said, listen, Tom, they want you to play top 40. That's what the crowd is and stuff like that. And he said, okay, I got it. I'll solve it. No problem. So the next night he went on, and every time he did one of his own songs, he would go, and here's a new top 40 hit for you from,
That's great.
So
That's great.
Everything was smoothed out. After that, they did a demo recording, and I had a good friend who was working for a major concert promoter in Miami, and I took it down, and I was all jacked up. I'm going to get them, to open the act for some big, arena show and stuff like that. And I played, and they said, "That's very nice. It's great. There's one problem. Whoever books the feature act has a lot of other acts on their roster, and they want to promote those acts as the opening acts."
Right.
And it ain't going to happen. And I went, oh, shit. I said, and that was at that moment on the ride home, I started to realize that Tom Petty was going to have to go out west to L.A. In order to make it because he wasn't going to be getting on the opening act for, whoever was the, big star at the time.
Right.
So anyhow, I think that country music is something that, I've been here 54 years now around North Central Florida, right? and country music has evolved.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it sure has. I see it going a little bit through a metamorphosis right now. Like I told you, Post Malone having this great country album. I mean, obviously he is a big fan of country music, and he took it very seriously when he recorded his country album called F1 Trillion. And there's some songs on there. There's a song by him called Yours that he dedicated to his daughter. And I think it's going to be the daddy-daughter dance at weddings into the future. It's beautiful. And it's a country song. And it's Post Malone, of all people.
So
amazing.
Yeah. And so, we founded the Great Southern Music Hall in 1974. And, we had friggin' Waylon Jennings playing.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
I mean, and we had the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. And, we had lots of what we would call country rock bands around.
Right.
Dwayne Allman played. Okay,
Right.
I mean, those are guys from Daytona Beach. Okay,
Wow.
I mean, they knew country music,
Right.
right? And they knew the blues, and they put it all together and made an indelible sound that people to this day still listen to the Allman Brothers.
Yeah, my wife and I were watching a documentary on Willie Nelson, and Willie Nelson wanted to bring the hippies and the rednecks together, and everybody get along. And when Willie Nelson saw Woodstock, he got inspired to do his what they call a 4th of July picnic,
Out
which
in
is a
Texas.
country Woodstock. And it's just the story of Willie Nelson is so amazing. Can I tell you the story from
Sure,
last night?
yeah.
So Willie Nelson's house caught on fire, and it's up in flames. I mean, roaring flames. Fire department's on the way, and all this. He runs into the house, and the two things that he saved from the house was his guitar named Trigger and a 2-pound bag of weed. He said he couldn't see a 2-pound bag of weed going up in flames like that. So he saved that, and he saved his guitar. And I was like, so rock and roll, so country, so Willie Nelson.
Well, you may not know this story, but back in the 1970s, I was advisor for the state of Florida for the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws.
I did not know that.
So I go up to Washington, D.C. for the annual conference, and, we're there, and the founder, Keith Stropp, is saying to me, guess who was here last week? I said, who? He said, Willie Nelson. I said, and, what was he like? And da-da-da. He says, well, this is Jimmy Carter time, right? 76, 80.
76, yeah, Billy Beer and stuff.
Yeah. So he said, well, Chip Carter and I are good buddies, and we went on top of the White House on the roof with Willie Nelson and smoked joints.
No way.
So
Wow.
so I said, well, that's something else.
Yeah, that tops my story. Wow.
Well, so there was Chris Christopherson, Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson, and Johnny Cash.
The Highwaymen.
Yeah.
That's what they call themselves. Yeah.
And Johnny Cash covered Tom Petty's song. I mean, they became friends. I guess the theme I'm trying to get to is that country music is everywhere, and that's probably one of the reasons for the success of you, and your listener audience.
And I mean, you probably never imagined, when you first were with Mudcrutch becoming, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers and all that one day there's going to be this country tribute album to Tom Petty. And, and all these younger people now are requesting American Girl like it's a new song. I mean,
I know. Dierks Bentley
Dierks
rendition
Bentley on
of it.
American Girl, and it's the coolest thing. And for me, I grew up in Williston, and I moved here in 68, 67, so right a little bit before you. And I've seen the growth of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers to the status. And now you go to a Gator football game, third quarter, won't back down. And the the lighters and the light. It's just the most one. It's the coolest thing, and I'm so ready for football season. It's
Yeah,
right
so
around the corner.
let's talk about it. The over/under for the Gators is 5.5 games, meaning if they, if they win only 5, then you lose. If they win 6, you win. Are you over? Or you under?
I'm over. I feel optimistic. I feel the coach has got some tricks up his sleeve, got some players up his sleeve that these younger ones that we don't know about yet that are going to blossom. I feel very positive. At least 7 wins. I see. I think it's going to be a good season. I know it's going to get better in the next few years because of all the recruits coming in. Like if you've ever seen DJ Lagway, I mean, he's something.
Yeah,
So,
6'4", 240,
Yes.
with a cannon for an arm,
Yes.
and athletic kid, and we're because of our partnership with the Gators. I get to travel with the team one time a year.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And I get to meet the coach and hang out a little bit. And I've gone to their office in the new facility there at Hefner. And I've been so impressed because I think Billy Napier really has an understanding of how to build a program, how to do it right. He's got, a really good team of people that are behind him, helping him out. My feeling is that at some point, in order to get back to the greatness that we had between 1990 and 2009, we had a 20-year run there where we were friggin' awesome, okay? That we need to find, the right coach who can come in and build, the program.
And patience for the Gator fans. Just be patient, be patient. Be patient. It's hard. I know.
They're the worst. Okay. Well, after 20 years, right?
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. I mean, during Spurrier's 12 years, right? We were always there, in the top 5,
Right. And the swagger that Coach Spurrier had, and and the way he would poke fun at Tennessee, poke fun at Florida State.
Right, and then all of a sudden, Urban Meyer comes in and wins 2 national championships in 3 years, and then it's like, oh, that's the Gator standard.
Recruited Tim Tebow, and just transformational. And I was going to tell you real quick, for that 3-year anniversary, Coach Spurrier was here, and you saw head ball coach. My son Noah works at the Publix in Hale Plantation, and Coach Spurrier buys his newspapers from my son every morning. So we have that connection, and my son will text me and say, Coach Spurrier just bought his newspapers. He buys like 8 newspapers to keep up with everything. And,
well, for those of you that don't know the head ball coach, he's really sharp. He can tell you. He could probably, if you told him what happened in the 1998 game against Tennessee, he could probably run down almost every play.
He would. Yeah, and I've heard that. He'll say the score, what happened, act to Riedel and all, he'd be naming names and, Kerwin Bell, and all this. Yeah, it was, he's got that memory, and he's got stories and all that, and I love getting to see him because he's a country music fan.
Yeah. He grew up in Tennessee.
Yeah, grew up in Johnson City, Tennessee, and he used to listen to me on the radio when I was at a radio station in Gainesville, and he was a big George Strait fan. And every time George Strait came out with a new CD, he would have me drive to the stadium, park in his parking space, go up the elevator to his office, and bring the CD to him. And we did this like a deal exchange or something we would do. And I would always give him an advance copy of George Strait's album. And we did this. I even mailed it to him when he was a coach at South Carolina, and he sent me back this picture. He was so thrilled that I still remembered to send him a George Strait CD. So we have that bond between us. He's a country fan.
So, K Country 93.7 is number 1 in our market.
We're number 1. Yeah.
What's the secret?
I think the secret is the air staff there has been there. The morning show has been intact for 20-something years. I've been there for 30 years. Big Red, our afternoon guy's been there for 30 years. I mean, it's the longevity, and also we keep it local. I mean, you can turn to us to find out the traffic, what concerts coming to town, a charity event that's going on. It's local, local, local. And we do a mix of the new and the older country. And I just think we cover a little bit of everything. And, from Post Malone to Garth Brooks, we got it covered.
So I got to tell you, I was up at Garth Brooks' a bar.
Yeah,
the
in
week,
Nashville.
Yeah, I was there the week it opened.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And we were up there for a conference, right? Mm-hmm. And no, as a matter of fact, I was traveling with the Gator basketball team.
Okay.
And they were playing Vandy, and it was the last game of the season, which they lost. They should have won. Mm-hmm. However, the night before the game, we go down to Friends in Low Places.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, on what they call it, Lower Broadway.
Lower Broadway.
Lower Broadway, yeah. It seems like every country star has a bar there now. Morgan Wallen, Garth Brooks, Dierks Bentley, Jason Aldean, Luke Combs, Luke Bryant. They all have bars.
Yeah.
Alan Jackson,
Well, I had been there in the 70s when the bars were really honky-tonk,
right.
Okay?
Right. Like fights break out.
So have you seen the Netflix series on, the bar, on Garth Brooks' bar?
No, but my wife and I are looking for a show to watch on Netflix. So now thank you for that recommendation.
So just go to Netflix. I think it's like 5 or 6 episodes.
Okay.
And it shows from the beginning how they conceived the bar and how they wanted to really make it special, and that it wasn't good. Garth is Garth, right?
Right.
And he was,
Garth is amazing. He did a show here at the O'Connell Center back in 1991, and Billy Joel was at the concert and did a surprise. Came out on Shameless by. And Billy Joel did it originally, and Garth Brooks covered it. And the piano rose out of the stage, and Billy Joel was playing it. That's the loudest maybe I've heard the O-Dome, other than maybe the Gator basketball team back when we were winning national championships in basketball. And it was amazing. And,
Garth Brooks, he put the theatrics into country music.
Yes, he did. He was one of those that took country music to a different level, especially in concert. Because in the old days, a country artist would just stand in front of the microphone, play the guitar.
I remember going to the Ryman, right?
Yeah, yes.
And I'd sit there, and it was awesome, right?
Right.
It was awesome, but a lot different than a Garth Brooks concert.
Yeah, Garth Brooks. He brought swinging from the rafters and shaking the water bottle, and I know he had a lot of rock and roll influence there in his concerts. But there'll never be another Garth Brooks, and he's one of the nicest guys in country music.
Well, you could tell that from this series when he. Yeah. He talks about really what he wanted, in the place. And he said, look, I want to make a place where my friends and I could, hang out and have a good time. And that was kind of the starting point for it. Like, where would I want to go?
Right. Okay.
And so...
so you enjoyed it when you were there?
Yeah. Okay. They have a real stage. The funny story is they have these 2 huge high-def screens, and I'm sitting there looking at the high-def screen. I must have had a couple bourbon or so because I thought that was the live show. And then I look to my left, and there's the artist performing live.
The high definition those screens. But, yeah, that is awesome. My wife and I were in Nashville about a month or so ago for the Country Radio Hall of Fame and Radio Hall of Fame induction ceremony. And Lainey Wilson, she's a female superstar, and she has a new bar she opened, and we went and checked that out. And there's people performing at all these bars and stuff. It's quite the scene.
Well, I'll tell you, Lewis, I'm here with my good friend Lewis Stokes from K Country, and we're talking country music. I got to tell you that in order to really learn about country music, you got to date a country girl.
Yes, that's right. And I'm married to a country girl, that's for
So,
sure.
so I want to talk about that. You know, I know you and Angie have been married now
8 months.
8 months.
Uh-huh.
And how has that changed your life?
Oh gosh, it's very unique because I'm with a woman that's my best friend, and we cut up and joke together, and we're happy just being home alone with each other. We love being with each other, and it's just wonderful. She's my best friend. She's my soulmate. She's just everything, and she understands the country music business. She was in a Faith Hill music video and also a Travis Tritt video.
No kidding.
Yeah,
Did you know that Teresa Nelson from Gainesville married Travis Tritt?
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
She was a client of mine.
Yeah.
She was in a personal injury case, and I was so excited when she said, "Yeah, I'm moving up to Nashville." Right?
Yeah. They're still together.
She moves up to Nashville within a year or two. I'm going like. And Teresa Nelson is getting married to Travis Tritt, and I'm going like, oh, she was in my office.
Yeah, she was in a video for him called "She's Going Home with Me." It was filmed at the Gainesville Raceway. And, yeah, it was at the raceway. But my wife, she also sings, and she's performed shows at places all around North Central Florida, and she's so talented and beautiful and lovely, and maybe she'll be a guest on here one day.
Yeah, well,
get her story.
I've been following your story, on Facebook, and what is it, Facebook or Instagram?
Yeah, all that. Yeah, Facebook, Instagram.
Well, yeah, you're a celebrity. We have to do that stuff at Meldon Law, and actually, you know what? It's kind of fun. I still like to meet with my clients in person, and we like to, keep a personal connection. And in many ways, Facebook, Instagram allows you to kind of keep track of where your friends are and what's going on.
Yeah.
You have your family group, and you have your, your other group, and so I'm not one of these folks that puts down, the new fangled toys. I think that there's a good place for them.
There is, definitely.
As long as we don't lose, like you and I sitting down in a room chatting, right?
Right. Yeah, and we're not created by AI, and it's not really us. That's what I worry about sometimes. That they can take our voice and make an interview that we didn't do. You just got to keep it real.
Exactly, and that there is always something unique when you do things in person and you're able to, just hang out. What we do, at least at Meldon Law, is we encourage people, say, look, this is your case, and to you, it's your only case. To us, it's very important. We want to come in and meet with you in the office. Nowadays, it's amazing how many people go, oh, can't we just
Zoom,
talk on the phone? Can't we just do FaceTime? Or Zoom?
Right.
Can't we do that? And you say, you can if you want, right? And a lot of people choose that. But when you sit down in a room, you get body language, you start getting to know them, and then all of a sudden, they start talking about something and you learn something. And then all of a sudden our eyes like light up and go, oh, let's do this. And it's almost like, I'm sure, with musicians when they're collaborating or writing songs, that, there's something about, working together.
Exactly. Being in a room together.
Being in a room, one guy's,
one
guy's writing the music, one guy's writing the lyrics, one guy's,
right.
hey, Joe, what do you think about this, this tune here? And then they, put, so anyhow, that's just me, and I know you're that way too, that if we can hang out and, do stuff that's fun.
I've enjoyed this. This has been, I really look forward to speaking to you like this. It's like we're just two old buddies just telling stories.
So anyhow, we are going to have music coming to Gainesville, Ocala, all over North Central Florida. We're sponsoring the Tom Petty Festival this year.
Right, our sister station, Wind FM, is involved in that.
Yeah, I think they're bringing in some country music
That's
people.
what we've heard, yeah.
And so, you know, I love it. And, you know, now that Tom Petty's, you know, recognized more as a great songwriter, I think that's what this album, you know, Tom Petty Country is, you know, it's kind of a salute to him.
I agree. And like I said, some people probably never heard Southern accents, but now they'll listen to it. Too.
Yeah, I mean, Dolly Parton, my former law partner, has been her lawyer for about 40 years.
Wow.
And Peter Laird. And Peter, you know, I asked him about, he's had a lot of, you know, A clients, you know, Miley Cyrus, John Bon Jovi, you know, Bette Midler, you know, Prince. And I said, of all of these, who is the best to work with? And he said, hands down, it was Dolly Parton.
I can see that.
He said that she was respectful, she was kind, she was funny. She, you know, was, you know, wasn't a jerk, you know.
Right.
And who, you know, of the last 40 or 50 years, she's really, you know, been the, you know, #1 country female star, I think. You know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, consistently. And she came out with a rock album recently, and she's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, too. So,
yeah, right.
Yeah, she's amazing.
But, you know, she tried to tell him, I'm not sure I deserve this. And she was kind of hesitant.
Yeah.
And then finally they pushed her and said, okay.
Right.
But, again, it gets back to, you know, what's rock and roll and what's country. And now all of a sudden, I mean, Taylor Swift, right?
Yeah.
You know,
She started country, and now she's big-time pop and doing stadiums. And
But you know what it is? I asked my daughter, you know, who's a Swiftie, and I said, Jessica, I said, what is it? She said, you know, she writes lyrics and songs that people relate to about her life. And she's
relatability.
And she's not, you know, what she said was, she's not exactly hoochie mama like Miley Cyrus.
That's funny.
It's true though, right?
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, she's hot, but she's not like over the top. And the mothers who have 8-year-old daughters
Feel safe with her. Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
And so, but Taylor Swift is country. I mean, you know, I mean, she's moved into, you know, more pop.
Right.
However, the basics and the lyrics and the feeling and everything,
The
you know,
stories.
all the stories. And isn't that what country music is all about?
Yeah, it is. It's about the stories and feelings and just,
Yeah, I mean, you know, it used to be, you know, my wife left me, you know, my dog died, but now I think it's a little more than that now.
Yeah, hold my beer.
Hold my beer. Yeah.
Right.
Well, you know, I mean, Toby Keith was what, you know, talk about beer songs. I mean, Toby Keith is, you know, Red Cup, fill it up.
Oh, yeah, and Beer from a Horses with Willie Nelson. Yeah, definitely.
So we know country is fun, and I want to thank you, Louis, for joining us on the show. I'm really excited about what you're doing for North Central Florida. I know you're right. Longevity and creating a person that feels like a friend on the radio when someone's listening to it.
Yeah, I always say the Louis Stokes you hear on the radio is the Louis Stokes off the radio. In fact, my real name is Louis Stokes, so it's on my driver's license. I don't have a fake radio name, so what you see is what you get.
I know. Well, thank you again for joining us on Meldon Law Friends, and thank you all for listening.
Go Gators.
And watching, and go. Yeah, let's do a Go Gator cheer to end it up. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Go Gators! That's a wrap.